Welcome back everybody to the daily racing show here at RacePlazaMedia. Today's Wednesday, so we're going to be taking a look at one of my iRacing races. I'm still racing in Formula V and we are at the Okayama International Circuit. Let's get into it. Here we are, guys. So as you guys can see, I qualified in P4. I think my qualifying time was around like 1:54 or something like that. And then as you guys can see, the guy in front of me actually ended up having a false start. So that's why he's a little bit further ahead than anyone else. But let's hit it, DJ, because there's lots and lots to talk about. My main goal, of course, as always, going into this race was do not get into a crash, avoid any incidences, and concede to position if need be, if that means keeping your race clean and, you know, no accidents or accident free. That's really was my goal, is because I'm still trying to get to Formula 4 and I don't have that 3.0 rating yet. Probably if I did more racing I'd be there yet, but c'est la vie. Anyways, this guy is the guy that had a false start. I'm able to take or pass him, and then P1 actually unfortunately has a little bit of a spin out. Unfortunately for this person, great for me, and also great for the gentleman that is catching my draft. We are going essentially we're level going down the straight. I was keeping far to the right because, first of all, I have a left drift tendency, and I was also, once again, I was afraid of, you know, getting into a, how do you say, into a, I don't know, getting crashed into, essentially. That's really what I was afraid of, because in my previous race that I did on this track, I was taken out in like turn 3. Someone was trying to take a line that was not there to be taken, and he crashed into me, and that was essentially it. I had to pit, and that takes like 2 minutes, I think, towing time on this track is. So that ended up effectively ruining my race. However, here I was just like, go ahead, my friend, you pass me. I am unfortunately much slower than you, so go ahead and just pass me. I mean, to be fair, I didn't have to really leave this person any room. They were just much faster. I was here at this point, I was just like, listen, if I can stick as close as possible to P1, that would be great, and defending P2 will be awesome. However, I do understand that P3 is like 2.5 or 2.8 seconds behind me. So I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm checking my rear mirrors, and then I'm trying to see if I can kind of catch up to this person in front of me, because on this track, because you have these long straights, if you're close enough, obviously you can get into some slipstream and potentially gain a lot of speed and pass the other person, which we'll see something like that happening later. However, one main thing is, this is like the 3rd time I've been recording this video because of my own, you know, shortcomings. However, the main thing I've really realized watching this is that I brake much earlier than everyone else going into this corner. This is definitely a corner I struggle with. I have a tendency to go into the grass and off track there, but I'm braking much earlier than everyone else, which is costing me a great amount of time. And I do believe I could hit a 1:53 and some change in lap time. However, not with taking this corner, especially that corner like that. I will also, as always, put a video down below that I've been using to help with racing line and braking and stuff like that, as always. So I will put that down below, the guide that I was using in preparation for this. I will say I haven't raced as much on this track as I would have liked to, because this track actually has besides having obviously these long straights, it has a lot of fun corners. There's few corners you can actually take without braking. You can just use the weight shifting of the car to hit those corners, which those are almost my favorite type of corners to take, because there's so much fun, especially like there's a lot of, you know, there's still a lot more that I can get out of them, but finding that limit I always think is really, really fun through those corners. This corner coming up is obviously a very, very big corner. It's like one of those double corners that I am notoriously bad at, but you know, it is what it is. I am gonna turn around the camera actually in just a second, because as you guys can see, I am losing to the guy in the front, and the guy in the back is trying to cuddle up, which I'm not interested in. But he very much is trying to get closer to me. I think I should be braking much later, yeah. And I'm taking the apex very, very early, which gives me a bad exit here. As you guys can see, this is what I was talking about earlier. I like to mingle with the grass there. Those two corners, you don't ever have to hit the brake. You can just fan the throttle, and depending, and you know, the better you are at it, the better you're finding the limit, the faster you can take it. I'm obviously still learning. The second corner I actually take much better than the first one, but that is it. This corner is also surprisingly, you don't take the apex too early, otherwise it will be very difficult to make it around. I am gonna shift the camera around now. I'm just gonna do maybe a little bit of a rear chase. As you guys can see, this gentleman is getting, or this person is getting much closer to me than I care for that person to be. I am losing time to the back. However, what I was also thinking, what I've noticed in my racing, and I'm sure all rookies kind of go through that eventually, but even though, you know, my racing line is not perfect, my braking and stuff like that is not perfect, I am making fewer mistakes, so I'm spinning out a lot less. I even noticed that in practice, where you can be spinning out a lot more, and not saying that in practice you shouldn't be spinning out, because that's where you're going to find your limit, right? But especially trying to feel that limit, or when I am losing the back, trying to straighten it out and not completely spin out, I've gotten much better at that. And especially I feel like I've gotten better at it in my races. The races that I've had, even though, you know, I've had, you know, plenty of races now where I've gotten hit, and, you know, those, you know, that race ended up being ruined, I still always finish my race, and I don't really have any spin outs or anything like that. However, you guys know when I say stuff like that, there might be something coming up. But yeah, this is actually a really cool angle to view this at. I've watched this race now 3 times, and you guys will see why this will pain my heart in just a second, why this pains me so much. Yeah, I was very afraid here that this guy was gonna send it through the corner right there. It sounds dramatic, but I was essentially almost dive bombed in my previous race. So I was just like just let him go. Just let him pass. I would be more than ecstatic to finish P3. I would actually even be happy in finishing P4. I think in general, if I finish at least a starting position from qualifying, that's great. Or top 5 if I qualify, you know, lower than that, which I've had. In the previous race, I actually qualified P8, which was not good at all. But that was also kind of on me. I was rushing to get to the race. I had like 7 minutes of preparation because I was coming home from work, and I knew I had to record a video for today, and yeah, it wasn't a good idea, but that is fine. Let me see, is this, if you guys actually don't like this angle, or it's maybe making you nauseous, let me know. I actually quite like the chase. Can we check? Oh, look at this. This looks actually kind of cool. Wow. Okay, yeah, but this is not particularly helpful for this video. Here, once again, let's just go back to the far chase. He was surprisingly not gaining as much on me than I thought he would. I think he might have had a worse exit than me out of this previous corner, because slipstream is real on this track. There we go. Those 2 double corners, I actually quite like them. Once again, I do believe I said that earlier, I really enjoy this track. It's a fun track. It has a good combination of a lot of things, and it's a great way to practice, I think, your racecraft compared to some of the easier tracks. Not that you can't practice them on this, but on this one, because you have so many different types of corners, it really, you know, puts your skills to the test, or you can do a lot of learning. Here, we have something now coming up that is mostly my fault. I've, you know, considering that I'm recording this for the third time, so this is of course my fault. I'm not faulting this person for hitting me there. Obviously a lot more speed, and he didn't probably expect me to be this slow going out of it, so that's fine. However, here you guys can see it's already almost there, and I was just really here. I genuinely, hang on a second, sorry guys. I've watched this now 3 times, and I want to just see this one more time, because I do believe I know it seems like maybe I'm overreacting. How can I put this away? So I just genuinely thought that he was gonna hit me if I don't make enough space, and I ended up hitting the brakes much harder than I needed to. So I kind of ended up messing a little bit of my own race. But here I genuinely thought if I would start turning in now, he was gonna hit me. And like, yes, he now veers out right, but this happens quite late. And if I would have turned in now right too, I'm pretty sure he would have hit me. And yeah, maybe I should have closed the door earlier. You guys can let me know. There's more coming up when it comes to that. But once again, the goal was to just keep it safe. Unfortunately, here I'm spinning out. I get a lot of gravel on my tires. There's a guy coming on the left, so that's why I'm sticking kind of to the right. I didn't want to hit him. I'm much faster through this corner, and then what we're gonna do actually, yeah, you know what, we can keep it like that. I'm passing this guy, but there's another guy right behind me. Actually, this is not helpful if I just tell you guys about it. It must be easier here. There's that white and red car that is right there, and then we're both going into the corner. I'm going right here, and there we go. Boop, boop, boop. He goes flying, and I spin. Let's go back one more time. This is the bane of my existence. So I will say, could this be considered a racing incident? Sure. Do I think that I'm less at fault than he is? Yes, I do believe so. If you want to call this a racing incident, that's fair. Especially this is rookie leagues, yada yada yada. That's fine. But mate, you have a lot of space on the right side. Yes, I have a lot of space on the left side, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset when that happened. And then you know what upsets me the most is, like, if you see this guy will just continue driving and continue his race, and I'm like this. So I now have to back up because my left tire, I don't think you can see it, it's stuck on the wall. So then I have to reverse. Yeah, there you go, reverse, and then I have enough space so I can go on the track before the next guy's coming up. But yeah, I was frustrated. I will say I was actually more frustrated after the race was over than during the race. During the race, I was just like, okay, just keep calm. Don't try to get mad about it. Just bring it home. I knew at this point I was not going to catch the guys in front of me, but I was like, okay, just drive it home safely, which, you know, doesn't really work out. I will fast forward through this portion a little bit just because nothing is going to happen for the next half or lap or so. If you guys think this is annoying when I fast forward through that, just let me know down in the comments below. I'm still figuring out what the best way of reviewing that is with you guys. However, I do believe actually the gentleman that's behind me, or the person that's behind me, is the person that did a false start. So maybe if you do a false start, you have to go through the pits. But here we are. It looks like the car that was that qualified in P2. But yes, so yes, at this point I'm feeling quite distraught, or I'm still very distracted in my head. I keep thinking about getting into that accident just now. I was just also thinking about, I'm kind of happy that I didn't have to get towed. That would have been really, really annoying. And however, here you guys can really see how much that slipstream really helps out. Look how much this person is gaining on money. At this point, I am not moving to the right because I'm like, I'm not going to try to concede this next position too. I will leave, you know, once again, I'm not going to try to get another incident, but I'm not going to make it that easy for you to pass me. And we will see how that philosophy will work out for me in just a second. Once again, this person seems like to have a much better exit. And then I was afraid, you know, getting dive bombed here. So I stay actually quite left. And then this person's already inside. I don't think he really dive bombed me there. This person was already along, you know, already was quite far up when we got to the corner. But I also kept it really, really safe and kept it far left because I was just like, not another incident. I am not gonna lie though, you guys can see like at this point I know I'm not gonna catch him, and that's just what it is. And then I just put it into the wall. The race is over and I just put it into a wall. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I wasn't upset after this race. I was, because I knew that P2 would be a stretch, but I thought P3 might have been possible and P4 for sure. And it's just unfortunate, you know, that's racing in general and racing in the rookie leagues. That's just how it goes, and that's, you know, c'est la vie. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be mad about it or that I'm not going to be frustrated with it. And especially now I have to watch it like 3 times. But you know what? I have something cool coming up at the end of the week that will hopefully help me a lot with my racing. And I will get into detail about it and report to you guys about it next week. In the meantime, however, as always, get in the comments down below. Tell me about a great thing that happened to you in one of your recent races. It doesn't even have to be iRacing, any type of racing. And let me know how it went, because we need some positivity. I do believe I was complaining quite a bit in this video, and I'm sorry about that. We're going to bring back the positivity. So let me down in the comments down below. Let me know if it was something great that happened to you. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show, where we will tell you guys everything that you can watch this coming weekend, racing related. Bye, guys.